Final Fantasy VII Remake was announced at Sony's press conference by Square Enix, and that was amazing. I did not expect it. I saw the leak, but I didn't believe it. There wasn't a chance I was going to believe it. But, that was something truly amazing. Fans have been waiting for the Final Fantasy VII Remake for 10 years now. It's been 10 years since the infamous PlayStation 3 tech demo video of Final Fantasy VII. Wow. It's really cool. Final Fantasy VII isn't my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's not even in my top 5, probably. But it's still very good, and I still like it a whole lot. And, I mean, I like it enough to have the original release. Like, it's not even a Platinum release, so that should count for something, I'd say. But it's a game I was always worried about having remade. Because as good as it is, and as good as Square Enix current people are, because I believe the current people at Square Enix are very talented people, it's a very dangerous game to remake. And Nomura, who is directing it, Nomura is someone I have a very on and off relationship with, so to say. I loved his work with Kingdom Hearts. I think Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 are superb games in terms of gameplay and story direction. People say the story in Kingdom Hearts is just a bunch of bull, but we have a different video for that later. But he also did stuff like Advent Children, which I hate. His decisions regarding Final Fantasy Versus 13 was odd, to say the least, and he's a bit of a weird one to work with. But having now read some interviews with him and gotten a feel for what he's going to do with the remake, I think he's making the right decisions. He's basically Resident Evil remaking it. It's not it's not Twin Snakes or Ocarina of Time 3D where the core of the game will remain the exact same, but rather the story will remain the same. We have the original story, the original scriptwriter coming in to add more bits of story and stuff to do, and we're going to keep the mood and feel of everything in Final Fantasy VII while still giving it new ideas and new things to it. It sounds like the kind of remake I personally enjoy the most. Not necessarily the safest way to go about it, but possibly the best way to go about it. And my biggest worry really was that they were going to cut out the humor and the lighthearted moments, because Final Fantasy VII is a very silly game at times. And people said oh well, they can't have silly moments, like when he wakes up Vincent, and Vincent does this whole dramatic opening, "Who dares awaken me from my nightmare?" And Cloud's "I'm sorry, you're having a bad dream?" Or something like that. And it's just this really weird sort of wacky sense of writing, and I really like that in Final Fantasy VII, or just Final Fantasy in general. But people said oh, we can't have that with these really realistic, high graphics, serious looking characters. And I was well, you can. There's no reason you can't. But then they actually asked Nomura, and he basically said, of course we are keeping them. There's a lot of things we'll be cutting out and changing. We could never cut out lighthearted moments, because then it wouldn't be Final Fantasy VII, and I agree so much. Now, there's not a lot we know about the game properly. Apparently it has been in development for quite some time now, at least since before the announcement of Final Fantasy VII PS4, the port that's also coming out. But it went into full, official, now we're fully focusing on this production sometime earlier this year. I'm going to assume there's some Sony funding involved, because Square Enix does not have the money to produce a high-budget Final Fantasy VII PS4 game. At least not as far as I'm aware, and I try to keep up on how Square Enix funds are looking. But that's cool, and this winter we'll be seeing more. Hopefully we'll get the first name as well then, because apparently the game won't be called Final Fantasy VII. In fact, it's going to be called Final Fantasy VII something to differentiate from this Final Fantasy VII. A lot of people are assuming it's going to be called Reunion, because apparently that's a name Nomura wanted to use for Advent Children, and it's also something he has hinted towards. And while I personally think that sounds a bit too sequel-y, it's still a good name, so maybe, who knows. I actually thought it was going to be called Anniversary, because the rumor, or to be fair, the leak that announced it early, said that the game is aiming for release on the 20th anniversary in 2017, which would make sense. And Final Fantasy VII Anniversary, I think, sounds pretty good, but who knows. But yeah, I'm super excited. I hope it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to more information this winter. And I think it was good. It was very good that they decided to not have Final Fantasy 15 at E3, because no one would have cared about Final Fantasy 15 when they had shown Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like, they would have just killed their own buzz, and which actually makes me think that we're going to get a very, very like 15 is going to be out soon, like a year from now or something, so that they can shift focus to 7, because they don't want to both have 15 and 7 coming out and like clash in terms of popularity, because that will happen, and they know that will happen. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Excited. Very excited. Really hope it turns out as great as it can turn out. Still a little worried it might not, but we'll see.
At last, the promise has been made.